Hey everybody, what up? Scuff D here. And it is Golf spoiler time. Finally. Finally. The Word Bearers Legion is fast approaching. They will be here if you are watching this as it debuts. They will be here in less than 24 hours. 14 hours? 15 hours? My god. It's upon us. It's upon us. So, we've seen some very interesting cohesions with what they've got so far. Some very good pumps regarding with sacrificing and demons and demon hosting and stat buffs and summoning demons and widespread carnage. Because that's really, the Word Bearers are possibly the second largest legion at the time of the Heresy. Arguably so compared to the Ultramarines, so that makes a lot of sense. This expansion is going to make a lot of sense. I think from what we've seen so far, and I'm really hyped. I'm really stoked. I want to thank Everguild for allowing me the opportunity to continue to do these spoilerings. I hope you enjoy the spoilerings that I'm going to be giving, and I hope that they continue. So let's just kind of get into it. We're going to start off with the common Rongar Squad. 5-drop for 5/5. Unstoppable. Sacrifice. Give +1/+1 to your demons, in case you can't read that for yourself. Interesting to note that the sacrifice icon is going to replace the Salamander's sacrifice icon in-game. It's getting an upgrade. The sacrifice icon as it stands is a little bit too salamandery per Everguild, which is understandable, especially now that it is applying itself to a new legion. So, with a 5-drop, it's a common, guys, but that's not too bad, and the synergy here, giving +1/+1 to your demons, is huge, because we're seeing a lot of cards so far from the pool that are bringing demons into play, or pumping up your demon troops or your infantry troops, so the threat that your troops can pose, whether they are summoned in or in play or later on added by other cards. There's just so many different ways to bring them in and buff them, and that's pretty nice. Not too bad. So we're going to move up the rarity just a little, or a lot. Check out this guy, Mara Gull Dreadnought. First off, Vehicle Demon Hybrid. Vehicle Demon Hybrid. Now, I know you're freaking out already about the stats. Let's freak out about the hybrid. Then let's freak out about the stats. Terror, Shield, Ward, 9/10. The only thing this thing is missing is Survivor and Frontline. And anybody who has dealt with Telemon from the Custodes can attest to the power of a beefy frontline. Now, this guy isn't a beefy frontline, but for a 10-drop, having Ward is insane. The fact that terror backs up his ability for an attack of 9, and it's got shield. We haven't seen damage tactics too many. There's been the Hand of Fate damage tactic, but this is really very akin to a closed game situation. It can't be targeted, so unless it's a random stun or a stun all, this thing is going to do 9 damage the following turn to something after it comes into play. And it's an epic. That means 2 of them can be in your deck. Now, 10-drop, that's a little bit high for packing 2, but if it's increasing your odds of drawing it, and it's increasing your odds of seeing this thing is just nasty. I've got Telemon like chills up and down my spine. So I'm just gonna let you soak this one in for just a little bit longer. All good? Okay. This next one is for you, Kazrim. The Book of Lorgar. What? Just read this. It's your warlord gains. Ignore the maintenance cost of friendly demons. Oh, were you missing Lord of Flies? Are you sad he's not in the game? Are you just not getting enough out of your Ingathel? Do you want to play your Chaos Spawn, Swarm, Chain, Nasty, Nasty deck. Please, by all means do open the book, read from its pages. The potential with this long-term game as a 4-cost card, enhancing your ability throughout the course of the game. Let's just take a look. Let's just take a look at all of the cards that through the course of the game you can follow this one up with, and let your imagination run wild. Blam, 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 blamity blam blam. I mean, this thing doesn't do anything on a rally. This thing doesn't do anything as far as like cause damage or up the stats of your warlord. But in terms of synergizing with what you're building for your deck, if you're going to swarm demons, if you're going to just drop heavy, nasty, powerful demons, this thing is going to be a huge, huge saver in the long run. Much in the same way that the servo harness is for the Iron Hands. So this could be a legendary staple in most word bearer builds. So, did that do it for you? Did that knock your socks off? I don't know. I don't know if it's going to knock your socks off necessarily, but in terms of payoff for what the word bearers do, I think several of these cards, in conjunction with the cards that we've already seen, the word bearers have a variety of cards that allow for stat buffs, and kind of in the same way that the Emperor's Children can be a threat. If you don't get rid of their troops, they can increase the stats of their cards via several tactics, while the word bearers are much the same. However, what's very important to note is the cards that we've seen don't just apply to Astartes or troops. It's demons, and we have hybrid demon troops. We have cards that can, that are vehicle and Astartes and demons. Technical Servitor has got some potential there in opening up some avenues for dropping in some vehicle demon hybrids. Not to mention Demon Host itself being a very interesting evolution of the Mark of Chaos. The word bearers have a little bit more harmony when it comes to chaos as a whole, so it makes sense that the Demon Host effects are much more powerful than the Mark of Chaos cards. So the potential to pump troops is huge, which means that the threat from the word bearers is really coming so far from what we've seen from their troops, but we haven't seen everything. We haven't seen a warlord. We will be seeing them here in, when the set launches. I think is when we're going to get our first taste as far as what the word bearer warlords do. I think we're going to see, hopefully, some demon host action, hopefully a little bit of troop pumping action, and then I just think some just raw power, because bringing out powerful demons, potentially ignoring their maintenance cost, that's huge. It's one thing to drop Yuria, the Seducer, or Devourer of Worlds, but then to not have to worry about having to go the additional route of playing a sabotage on it to ignore the maintenance, or just being able to follow up with a full turn of dropping another large demon the next turn, every turn, or just dropping a board full of chaos spawns and having no repercussions for it. That's huge. That's really huge. And on top of that, you've got the threats posed by your larger Astartes troops. I think there's really a lot of avenues that we can see the word bearers go. I'm not a huge word bearers fan. I'm not. I'm not a huge Ultramarines fan either. They're just both a little bit too generic for my tastes. But I like the flavor that they've gotten so far. I like the fact that while they're borrowing traits from several legions that have kind of established, terror, ward, sacrifice, survivors kind of out there too, they still are paving their own way with regards to Demon Host. And I think we'll expect to see the same thing with the Ultramarines. They're very broad, very generic. However, in terms of practical and theoretical, the Ultramarines really wrote the book. Stupid, but they did. So they're next. They're next in 2 weeks. So yeah, that's all I've got to say. I wish I had more musings at this point. I'm just more excited than anything else, and I hope that you're excited too. And I want to thank you for tuning in to get hyped, get the final dosage of hype. I hope it's pumping through your veins. I hope the deck ideas are running through your head, and with that, I hope you're thinking about what you can do with all those empty deck slots. I know what I'm gonna do when I get some. Okay, all right, enough of me. That's it, guys. I will see you at Kolth, and it's gonna be hot. All right, that wraps it up for me. If you liked what you saw, feel free to like and subscribe. Add any comments below. And if you think the video might be useful or the series might be useful, feel free to share that with other players that you know as well. And we'll talk to you later.